Hi guys, this is Big Phil and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want us to talk about the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, a smartphone which I consider to be the king of Android smartphones right now. This smartphone is a lot, which means we got a lot to talk about. And I was fortunate enough to spend some few hours with this smartphone, so there's so much I gotta let you guys know about this smartphone. First thing first, the price. Let's start by talking about the price of the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Because as I mentioned earlier, this phone is a lot, which means the price is also a lot. It starts from $1,200 and the 1200 is a 256 gigabyte of internal storage. But if you're going up to 512 or even 1 terabyte, that's going to cost you around $1,600. The design of the Galaxy S23 Ultra is one thing I'm really disappointed about the phone. Samsung didn't change much about this phone. The design still looked the same as the S22 Ultra of last year. If you put those two devices together, it would be hard for anybody to find out what is the difference between these two phones because they look very similar. Even the colors that comes this year are exactly the same colors of last year. I would say the only difference is the fact that the S23 Ultra now has less sharp edges as compared to the S22 Ultra of last year. So holding the S23 Ultra in your hands feel a little bit much comfortable, even though it is a big phone. The phone is huge. And that's another thing. I'm not really a big fan of the S23 Ultra. I prefer the S23 Plus, which I did a video about it. I'm going to drop the link of that video in the description below. On my opinion, the S23 Plus is the most valuable Galaxy smartphone right now. The build quality of this phone is excellent. It has the Gorilla Glass Victus 2, both front and back, with tough aluminum frame. It's a phone that it feels like tank. It is strong, it is tough, it is solid. I just like the overall build quality of this Galaxy S23 Ultra. The phone is IP68 water and dust resistant. The phone has stereo speakers which are tuned by AKG. It has USB Type-C input 3.2. It has a Bluetooth S Pen, yes, and that's one good thing about the Galaxy S23 Ultra because it has a Bluetooth S Pen which will take photos. You can control music with the S Pen. And it is one good thing with the Galaxy. I mean, it's one reason why a lot of people will be buying this smartphone because I'm a big fan of S Pen. With an S Pen, you could take down notes, you could write down your memory, your ideas for anywhere you are. Just simply pull out your S Pen and start writing down. You could take down numbers by using an S Pen. So S Pen is very important on my opinion. The phone weighs up to 234 grams. It is a big phone, so it is very heavy. And the weight of the phone is another thing I dislike about it because I love phones that are comfortable in the hands. I love phones that are lighter. And for all the color options, which are Phantom Black, Green, Cream, Lavender, Graphite, Sky Blue, Lime, and Red, I would say the green color is the best color to go for because it just looks good. And I would say the second best color would be the red. Then the third, on my opinion, would be the lavender. For the display, this phone has a 6.8 inches of Dynamic AMOLED 2X screen with HDR10 Plus and 120 Hz refresh rate. Yes, guys, listen, navigating this phone feels like butter. So smooth. And the peak brightness can go up to 1700 nit. That's crazy. I mean, you could use this phone in direct sunlight and have no visible issue because it's super bright. It has a resolution of 1440 by 3088 and a PPI density of 501. And it has a beautiful always-on display. Samsung Galaxy phones have one of the best always-on display in the market. The battery of the S23 Ultra shines bright like a diamond. Listen, the battery is huge. It has a 5000 milliamps battery. I'm very sure you can spend a whole day using this smartphone with the 5000 milliamps And at the end of the day, you won't even have a low battery because that is a lot of battery on a smartphone. But also it depends because the screen can goes up to 1700 nits, which is super bright, and super bright display will drain a lot of battery, or depending on your workload, if you're spending too much time on the phone, then you might probably drain the battery before the end of the day. But if you're using your Galaxy S23 Ultra moderately, you'll be able to use this phone probably for a day and a half before you run out of battery, because 5,000 milliamps is a lot. And you can charge the phone at up to 45-watt wired charging. So the charging system, especially wired, is much better, much faster. So if you want to top up the 5,000 milliamps much faster, then use the wire. This smartphone, being a flagship smartphone, it comes with all the latest and newest processor. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 with Adreno 740 and Android 13 with Samsung One UI 5.1 on top of it. So the phone has all the latest and it's powerful, it's fast. Listen, for the few hours I spent on this phone navigating it, oh my God, it's super fast. And with a 120 Hz refresh rate, it feels like butter, so smooth. And you can buy this smartphone in so many different storage options. It starts from 256 gigabyte of internal storage with 8 gig of RAM. It can goes up to 512 gigabyte of internal storage with 12 gig of RAM. Or if you want to take it to the crazy level, you go for the 1 terabyte with 12 gig of RAM. The 1 terabyte, on my opinion, is for people who use their smartphone for content creation. I mean, if you're using your phone for making videos, taking a lot of photos, then the 1 terabyte is a better option for you. But for anybody else, if you're just an average consumer, the 512 gigabyte of internal storage, or even 256 is good enough. But unfortunately, the phone doesn't have an SD card slot, so you got to choose wisely. And now let's talk about the biggest elephants in the room, which are the cameras. Yes, this smartphone has 4 main cameras, and the cameras are incredible. It has one 200 megapixel camera. Yes, guys, let that sink in. 200 megapixel with f1.7 aperture. f1.7 is incredible. I mean, you'll be able to have amazing photos with nice blur background because f1.7 is great. And this camera has a wide angle lens. There is a 10 megapixel f4.9 and another 10 megapixel f2.4. And lastly, a 12 megapixel f2.2, which is ultra wide angle, 120 degree, which is great for those group shots if you want to take a nice photo of a landscape. And these cameras can shoot videos up to 8K at 30 or 24 frames per second, 4K videos at 60 or 30 frames per second, 1080p videos at 30, 60 or 240 frames per second. So this is a great smartphone for content creators, someone who uses their phone for making content, making money on YouTube or other social media platforms. This is a smartphone for you guys out there. The front-facing camera is just 12 megapixel at f2.2, which is wide angle, and the camera can only shoot 4K video at 30 or 60 frames per second, 1080p videos at 30 frames per second. Other features that you will get if you buy this smartphone includes an in-display fingerprint. Yes, there is an in-display fingerprint on this smartphone and it works amazingly. The phone has stereo speakers. As I mentioned earlier, they sound great because they are tuned by AKG. The phone has NFC, Bluetooth 5.3, Wi-Fi 6E, Samsung DeX, Samsung Pay, Bixby, and a whole lot of other great features that comes with this smartphone. So the phone is packed with features. And that's everything you guys need to know about the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. But what is my final verdict about this smartphone? Listen, this phone is great. It has everything that somebody will need in a smartphone. This is a future-proof smartphone, a smartphone that you can buy right now and use it for like 3, 4, 5 years because it has everything. It is packed with features. It has one of the biggest battery on a smartphone. It has an amazing display, amazing set of cameras. So it is a phone that if you are spending that $1,200 on, you won't regret it. But personally, I'm more into the S23 Plus. Let me know down in the comment section, guys. What are your thoughts? Which one are you going for? Or which one do you think is better? Are you going for the S23 Ultra? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notification for a lot of good videos come up on Big Phil TV. Until then, see you into the next one. Peace.